to the question, will it work for you? And I would say, absolutely. There is not a doctor out there, a naturopath, a functional medicine doctor that is going to help you like this program will. And I could tell you, I probably have spent $150,000 and have gone through the medical system all the way to functional medicine to naturopath. And I will tell you that there is nothing that works as better than this program. I could hands down say that because I am a product of spending a lot of money over a lot of years with a lot of different people and practices. You just have to do it.
Hello and welcome to the Health Wizard podcast. I'm your host, Elena Isolde Medici, a health and life coach. I'm so excited that you're choosing to listen to my podcast because you are choosing to make your health your priority. The Health Wizard podcast is dedicated to teaching natural, easy to implement practices that you can use to get your health on track and become the person you used to be before getting sick and the person you're dreaming of becoming again, happy, healthy, full of energy, and living a life filled with joy. Now, very quickly, before we dive into the good stuff, I want to remind you that this podcast is intended for education and entertainment purposes only. This podcast is not a substitute for professional medical advice. If you have a medical condition, please seek the help of a licensed medical professional. I am not a medical doctor. I do not treat, diagnose, prescribe, or make claims outside of my areas of expertise. So by choosing to listen to the Health Wizard podcast, you take full responsibility for your own actions. And when you hear the testimonials of the people who were able to get well, realize that their outcomes depended on their effort and their specific situation. With that said, let's jump into today's episode. Please enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of the Health Wizard podcast. Today, I'm super excited to bring an interview your way to get you inspired in times for the holidays and, of course, for the rest of your life, to show you that anything is possible. Even the worst of chronic health conditions can be resolved. Today's guest is very special to me. She is a former client of mine. She came to me after looking for health solutions for 16 years. She is committed to her health the way most people are committed to their illnesses. She is a vice president at a bank in New York, so she is an overachiever in so many areas, yet her health conditions were holding her back from living her best life ever. When she reached out to me earlier this year, she was struggling from multiple health conditions: hypothyroidism, hormonal imbalance, adrenal fatigue, SIBO, leaky gut, you name it, she had it. But those were not just conditions. They came with multiple symptoms and side effects. When Angela came into my care, she had 22 symptoms. She was on 20 supplements and on a couple of medications. And frankly, she was skeptical. She said, I've done everything that there is to do. I've already spent over $150,000 trying to fix my health. What can possibly be done? Yet, because Angela is so committed to her health, she said yes, she took a leap of faith, and then the rest, as they say, is good history in this case. So without further ado, let me bring on Angela so she can tell you her own story in her own words. Angela, welcome. I'm so excited to have you with us. What I'd love to do right now is for you to introduce yourself and give us a little overview of what your health looked like before you found me and before you said yes to the rest of your life.
You know, I was following you for many years. I never thought I can go vegan. So I was not doing well when the pandemic started because I started doing keto. And that actually, with the stress of the pandemic and everything, it made me 10 times worse. I gained 10 pounds very quickly. And I saw your email and somehow we got connected and we did a call together. And I just figured I have tried everything. I'm telling you everything for 16 years, every possible way, you know, flying out to Arizona, naturopath, local doctors, endocrinologists. And I knew like there has to be something more to get me to where I need to be.
Would you mind sharing what it is that you were struggling with health-wise? So 16 years of trying to resolve exactly what conditions, if that's okay with you.
I knew I had gut health problems, SIBO, leaky gut, candida. I had skin issues. I had like 20 symptoms, fatigue, I am trying to think of all of them. Just
Well, I'm gonna jump in and add to it because I just reviewed all of your stuff
thank you.
right before
I know
this.
I'm struggling with
So
remember.
you told me there was hypothyroidism, adrenal fatigue,
Oh, thank you.
hormonal imbalance, and all the other things that you mentioned. So all together, all these conditions, one after another. But
Yes.
before that, you used to be just a very active, healthy person. And then your life kind of came to a halt because all of this is happening. And you went from being a very extreme athlete to not feeling great, always exhausted, and gaining weight, which was not natural for you because you work out more than most people I know.
Absolutely. That's 100% correct. So
Yeah,
I
and you
think
were on what I think 20 supplements and a couple of meds when you came to me. And so when you said I tried a lot of things, kind of like a quick overview. So medication, supplements, what else had you tried?
it's more of going to certain people with the expertise. I mean, I went out to someone out in Arizona who was a functional medicine doctor. I mean, I flew out there before telemedicine became a norm now. And so, I mean, the amount of money that I had to spend, take this test, to, take these supplements, I was spending $500 to $1,200 a month on my health, whether it was, multiple appointments and all the things I had to purchase constantly. It was incredible. After I switched over from functional medicine, I went to naturopath. We discovered the gut health problems. There was just always try this diet, try this, do this. No one could really truly figure out why my hormonal imbalances constantly fluctuated. After spending a couple of years with someone and you still are not resolved, you need to move on because something's just not right still.
And you tried a lot of diets, didn't you? Elemental diet, then you tried the paleo diet, the keto diet. So you were not a stranger to anything that comes up with a promise. You were hopping onto that bandwagon.
Yes, I mean, I had to keep fighting and keep trying to get my health back.
Yeah, and I want to kind of dive into how it affected you in your life. So you're a professional, you are a banker, you work at a very high level, you work with businesses, you are anything but underachiever. So you're an overachiever, you go above and beyond, you make your clients happy. But how all of this, so 22 symptoms, 20 supplements, 2 medications, that somehow probably takes a toll on your body, on your life, on your career. Talk me through that.
Yeah, it was extremely difficult through the last 16 years when you have an enormous amount of responsibility and work. And obviously that had to take priority. With the brain fog that my health issues caused, it was very hard. I would have to put extra time in and just work weekends at times to be able to achieve the success I wanted to achieve. Other things became secondary. I still try to get exercise in when I could, but I was not able to make my health the priority, even though I still probably did more than others. But you can't function. It's difficult on your relationships, your career. It was very difficult to function. I still manage to do it because I'm a person that will put whatever time I need to do to achieve success. But I really struggled, honestly.
So now we meet. And I know one of your things was when that first conversation you and I talked, you said, okay, it sounds great. However, I'm very skeptical. And that, of course, went to 16 years of beating your head against the wall proverbially and nothing is working. But you took the leap of faith and you said yes, and we start working together. And I do ask you to make some major changes. So walk me through your mental transition. Like, how do you say this is going to be the last thing that I will ever do to make it work for me? And how do you have yourself believe in, give me that much trust?
Well, I had to give, well, one, you and I made a commitment that you won't work with people who are going to give you the commitment, because you can't do a program like this without putting 100% in. But yes, I was definitely a skeptic in it at first, because I was a believer in protein. I weight train. I like having muscle in my body. I'm like, how is this possible? How is staying away from oils really gonna, like olive oil? I'm Sicilian. This is like, I always joke that olive oil, everyone's like, why do you look so young? Well, olive oil oozes from my skin. I always joked around. But you know what? When you fight for your health and to be the best self for 16 years, and I'm like, well, obviously you look fantastic. I know what you've been through in your lifetime. I just had to give you 100%. Literally, it was the best thing I ever did. It's believe in you And, and it literally, to see those results so quickly.
So that was interesting, wasn't it, right? You went from a skeptic, you're like, let's start with 3 months, maybe later I'll do more. And then it was entertaining actually for me as a coach, because I seen so many women go through the same thing. And mind you, I was one of those women, right? My faith in methods had been so undermined because everybody made a promise and nobody could deliver on it. So I always I understand that piece, but then I asked you to do something even more extreme than most of our clients. I put you on a special elimination diet, and it was very boring. And you, with your Sicilian flavorful self, you go, you want me to do what? You want me to focus only on 10 foods? That was quite a transition. But mentally, how was that for you?
I would never lie and say it wasn't challenging, especially as the summer was starting out in, New York State. So it was super challenging, but since I made the commitment, I did it. I mean, without that, it's funny because I thought it was only going to last like 2 weeks. And then I went on to 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm like, oh my God, but it was the best thing I could have done. So, if you want to be healthy, you just got to do what's asked, because there's reasons behind it. There's science behind it. My God, I don't know if I would feel this great today. And the beauty is now is I have the tools. I sometimes still even revert a little bit back to that for a day or two, just so that, I'm like, I just, I'm a little sluggish today. Like, oh, or I ate something I should have because I was out somewhere, and I'm like, oh, let's just, and it's okay. It's all healthy food, natural, and it's good.
I'm flipping as you're talking here. I'm flipping through the journal that we had for you. That was quite astonishing, right? Week 3, we had you at 95% improved. So from a skeptic to a believer. So week 2, it was 86% improvement. Week 3 and on, it was basically 95% improved. And then one of the bigger things for you was you did a lot of things because you're an athlete and you're very committed to working out. You were very frustrated before we began to work together that you could not lose weight. And for you, we saw that began to shift. Walk me through that, because I can tell the story, but I want to hear it from you.
Well, it was so dramatic in the beginning. Can you imagine not being able to lose weight for 16 years? And if anything, because of certain things I tried, I actually kept gaining weight. So to be able to drop weight like that, and just, it was extremely emotional, honestly. So, because, you just haven't experienced it in almost 2 decades. So, and it happened so quickly. And, and weight loss for everyone is such a personal thing. And it is for me, because I like who I am physically, but the energy too that came with, the weight loss. And because I struggled from fatigue for so long. I mean, I remember I just married my husband 3 years ago. I was so exhausted. Like after the first year I met him, something must have happened or changed. And the energy that I have attained from this, like, I don't even know what to do with myself. It's incredible. Sometimes I try to achieve, and I'm like, okay, Angela, like, you're putting too much, you have so much energy. Like it's incredible.
Do you remember that one time you actually complained, like, am I supposed to be waking up this early with all this full of energy? I thought
I didn't have this energy as a child, as a teenager, as a young adult, and being 46 now. I'm like, it's what you can achieve. And I get it. Like, sleep is so super important. So I try to make that, because I could actually just keep going, but I'm like, hey, sleep is very important. My sleep is fantastic. Putting all that together, you end up becoming a new person, where you're like, okay, like, I have so much more energy and time on my hands now, because I'm not tired. I'm not fighting myself. There's nothing gnawing at you anymore. So it's a really an amazing experience. And I'm still trying to find myself, like, just trying to balance it all. Like, you've taught me so much of that, how to balance your days, don't just leave time for yourself.
Most women don't consider, when we go to doctors, men included, we go to doctors, they don't go about, well, how do we manage stress? How do we balance day? It's usually take a supplement, take this, maybe eat a different food, but nobody goes to the visceral level of who we are as human beings. And that is, how do you handle stress? How do you handle relationships? How do you do your work? So you're one of those women, you're extremely committed at work. But you and I had those conversations. I'm like, you're too much of work and no play. Let's bring some play back in. And it is so important in healing, isn't it?
It is, very much so. You have to have joy in your life, because even though we all work and we all want to work hard, that doesn't mean work needs to be miserable. You don't need to have, an unhappy, miserable attitude about even when you're doing what we call work. People's jobs can be enjoyable. My job's enjoyable, but it's just how you wake up every day. You taught me about the meditation in the morning, get your mind in the right place so that even when you're doing anything, taking a little drive or whatever it is, find joy, enjoy the moment. And that has changed so much of my perspective. I don't have bad days. I'm not grumpy rarely ever. I don't let my external things affect me anymore because this is my life, my choices every single day to be the person I want to be, regardless of negativity in the outside.
So it's been almost, I think, 7 months now, right? Since our first yes, or has it been 8 months? I think right around 7, 8 months.
Maybe 7, 8 months between
Yeah.
that.
So taking a look back at Angela 8 months ago and Angela now, if you were to compare the two, what are the parallels you're seeing and what are the differences?
And the differences obviously are very, very easy, and just what we've already talked about, the energy levels, the attitude, just my mental preparedness of every day, how I eat, how I feel, my skin, so all those things, huge differences.
By the way, your skin is still glowing and youthful without the olive oil, right?
I have had people tell me, your skin looks fantastic, which is amazing when someone, says that to you, because you're like, okay, this is, it's.
Yeah, you and I make 40s look very good.
Yes, it's very, very exciting. Some people get mad at me about it, but that's okay.
There was an Angela 8 months ago who was a skeptic. She took a leap of faith. If you were to look back at her at 8 months ago and she was having that moment of skepticism, what would you tell her?
Do it. You just got to do it. There's no other words I can say. This is a program that you have to do. So there is nothing else out there that can change your life like this in a healthy, natural manner without supplements. I have almost off 95% of my medication. There is no reason ever to be skeptical about this program. It went against a lot of, like we talked about, that I believed, and I am a true believer. I tell everyone about it because it truly has saved my life. It really has. And anyone out there, if you're worried about, like, is this the program for you, it really is. You got to trust it.
You already answered the next question I was going to. But I'm going to ask you one more before that. You have gone through quite a process with me. We worked on every area of your life. So we call it 360 degrees because I poke my nose into your thoughts, your life, your relationships, your food, and everything. So out of all the tools and things that we've used, what was the biggest part of your success?
Well, it's hard to pick one thing, honestly, because it's just, your program is a focal program. It's you can't just say, like, obviously changing, like not eating a lot of meats, acidic foods, and oils is extremely important. The mental aspect, though, is I don't know how you have success with one without the other, honestly, because you can't just change what you eat, but then still continue thinking and feeling, whether it's negative or you're down or you're sad or whatever it is, or it's trauma or bad things that caught, in your past. You have to deal with that thing and find peace within yourself. It's that mental aspect, the lack of how I react to stress. Changing how I eat would not have worked nowhere near as much without changing my mental side of, how I think in dealing with stress. Your Monday night Q&As on the Zoom calls are absolutely priceless, because the difference here is that, you do other programs through other people and you really never talk to anyone besides the person you signed up for. So you spend money with this person. Does this work? How do you know? With your program, you actually get you get face-to-face contact and get to hear their successes and everything they're dealing with, and when they're off medication. And then obviously every Monday there's this fantastic theme to help us, deal with whatever it is at the time. And so it proves your program, other people are in the program like I am, and that it's working for others too. What better proof is that that this program works, that you allow us. And then you have these intention groups on top of it, that you could have conversations and these like, workshops with other people in your group. There's no better proof about this program that it works than working with your other clients, whoever gets that privilege to do. There's no other program out there like that. So.
There's not, and I built it over the last decade. And I believe it or not, so I started off with a very simple premise: diet heals all, because it helped me so much.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the school of hard knocks, you learn very quickly. It's a great beginning, it's a great foundation, but cannot be solved all, because I had some clients who have absolutely impeccable diet, sometimes better than mine, and they're still sick. So building on that, and when I came into the knowledge, so I did a lot of research on a female psyche, on psychology, and I've learned that women actually heal faster in group settings, in communities. Yeah. It was like big aha moment. I started doing group calls. I used to have different things like weight loss programs and this and that. But the moment I started to introduce group settings, this is where we saw a huge leap forward in a lot of our clients' progress, because they, just like you said, you get on the call and you get fired up by people's successes so much that by the time you're done, you go, well, if they can do it, I'm going to do it. If they had accomplished it, I will accomplish it. So absolutely.
That's very priceless of this program. So, and then my biggest aha moment with you is I'll never forget, because I blamed myself so much for my lack of success on my health. Why did I do this? Couldn't I have done that better? Why am I 100% perfect? And you're like, stop. Enjoy the journey. You do not need to be 100% perfect. You are a human being. So in enjoying the journey of this program and trust in it. And it's not, yes, things like happen for me very, very quickly, but I still know that I still have time to keep healing. So it's not an overnight thing, but you constantly feel progress and you feel good about yourself.
Yeah, when you take 16 years of struggle and then you get rid of 95% of your symptoms in 3 weeks, it doesn't mean that you've healed completely. It means that now you're making it deeper progress inside of you, making it permanent, because we're not in a hurry. This is not a sprint. My family and I watched Usain Bolt. My daughter were just talking about success and how it took him 6 years to go from first being introduced into the world of running, sprinting, whatever it's called, to actually take in the first place. 6 years of patience and getting there. So even the shortest of distances takes time to get to, with time. And so health is not one of those things like, oh my God, I'm just going to get there. I think it's a journey. I think it's a process. And I think out of so many people I work with, you really allow that to sink into a deep level. Let's not rush. Let's not blame. Let's just enjoy it. You have a treat, so that's okay. I have another few days during the week to correct all of that and to address it, and really living in the moment. So now, Angela, you are you said you're almost completely off medication. Most of your supplements are completely gone. We're working only with a couple that are left over. What does your life look like next year, for the rest of your life? What have you freed up your health and energy to be able to achieve now?
Oh my God, I have so many, grandiose ideas of things, obviously besides possibly switching jobs, just learning new things. Like I've wanted to always focus on learning photography. I want to read more books. I want to learn more about, investing, managing my own money. There's just so much more time that I have I can now utilize to learn other things. And, and even invest in my relationships, my husband, where you're always so focused on how can I fix my health? Who can help me? Read about this, read about that. I don't have to do that anymore because I just trust in this program. So now I just do this, I continue to do everything you taught me, and it's become second nature. The outlook is so exciting, and there's no fears. Just, whether I'm going to go on vacation and all this, like this is my life now. I feel good no matter what I do. I'm always going to be my best self doing it. So it's
and enjoying the journey, being happy in the moment, right? Letting stress kind of roll off your back and being the best version of who you are.
That is huge. The what you've taught me on how to handle stress and enjoying the journey. I was so results oriented, and you really pointed that out for me, how results I was. It was always like, this is my end game. Well, what about everything in between? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, right. Like I just was
you used to live for the weekend. Saturday and Sunday are coming. Yes. And we said, okay, what about Monday through Friday?
Yeah, it was incredible. Like you changed every day of my life has been different and much more joyous. I can't even explain it. I'm a totally different person and I love who I am. Like I notice my friends even notice it, the change in me, where they're still all worked up and stressed and angry or whatever it is every day. And just, they're not sleeping well in this. And, you want to help them, but obviously you can't sit there and preach to people constantly. And I'm calm and I'm relaxed, even if I'm not happy about the situation, that we're talking about.
Yeah.
But you just taught me how to handle and how to handle those situations. And it's amazing.
Yeah, stress does not have to define us, and we don't have to become stressed when there's a stressful situation. That's big. Last question for you, Angela. Let's imagine that there will be thousands of people listening to this interview, and they're on the precipice of saying, is it worth it? Should I do it? Should I reach out to the 360 team? Will it work for me? What would be one advice that you would give them?
To the question, will it work for you? And I would say, absolutely. There is not a doctor out there, a naturopath, a functional medicine doctor that is going to help you like this program will. And I could tell you, I probably have spent $150,000 and have gone through the medical system all the way to functional medicine to naturopath. And I will tell you that there is nothing that works as better than this program. I could hands down say that because I am a product of spending a lot of money over a lot of years with a lot of different people and practices. You just have to do it.
You're going to make me cry here. I get so excited about my clients' success because I'm very picky who I work with. And you have met some amazing women when we work together, haven't you? And these are the women who come to us and they go, listen, I've tried all of that and it's too noisy and it's too confusing. And all I really want is simplicity. Just like you, Angela, they go, I want to wake up. I don't want to be in my life as opposed to 5 hours on the cell phone or somewhere in research and more doctors and more things. We just want to live life. I used to be you. You used to be just like me. We were tired of research. We wanted to live our lives and I wanted to enjoy things. I ended up doing what I'm passionate about, but I used to work in banking and I was a photographer and I'm like, I just want to live my life. I want to go out with my husband instead of being on the cell phone or on computer somewhere like, I need 5 more minutes. I just give me some more. And going back to the land of the living is a gift within itself. So I love working with women and men who are committed as you are, because I know when they get committed, they become unstoppable. And when the trust comes in, then we can resolve the underlying root causes of health issues, give them the tools that they need. So they, like you, Angela, can go out there and conquer the world. Investments, early retirement, traveling, everything that you like, picking up photography. Maybe we should do it sometime together. I love photography. It's my outlet. But it's all that we should live for. We should live for our passions and not for our illnesses.
That's right.
So right now, thank you so much, Angela, for giving us of your time. And I know it is so precious. You're always so busy. You're a professional woman with so much to do. But this time that you have given to us is a pay forward to everybody else who will come our way and say yes to themselves. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Elena.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, now that you have heard what Angela had to say and you had heard her story and you had heard her say that if you are like her, if you are suffering and struggling, and if you, just like her, are done and you don't want to spend more of your money and time on things that do not work, if you're tired of spending your life on researching and trying out things that already failed you multiple times and you want the permanent health, then all you need to do is reach out. It could be that I and my team might be that last thing that you've been praying and hoping for, your last step toward your happily ever after. All you have to do is go to www.360impacthealth.com/schedule and grab a complimentary 15-minute health clarity call with my team. When you get on that call with us, my team is going to ask you several questions just to get an idea if we can be of service to you. If we can, then they're going to schedule that main health strategy call with either me or one of my coaches, and we're going to take a deep dive into what made you sick, and we are going to map out a roadmap toward your health together. So this is it for today. I want to wish you a fantastic rest of the week, and I want to wish you happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and a happy, healthy life altogether. I'll see you on the next episode of the Health Wizard podcast. There you have it. I hope you enjoyed today's topic. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the Health Wizard podcast And please don't forget to tell others about it. If you would like to get more information about me and what I do, how I help amazing human beings just like you to achieve their dream health, go to www.360impacthealth.com. Go to the contact page and shoot me a note. Thank you so much for listening. I'll catch you on the next episode of the Health Wizard podcast. This is your host, Yelena, wishing you optimal natural health.